what's crazy? You know what's insane? Whenever you do a whole live video and you're on YouTube and you're on Facebook and everything seems like it's working out perfectly fine, and then suddenly you're done and you check your stream and you had no audio the whole time. That's what's great. That's what's great. So I apologize for all my viewers who sat through that last video. I'm going to try to do this again and do this the right way. So thank you for tuning in to Crypto Theists, Believers in the Blockchain, where we talk about everything crypto related and specifically how crypto is connected to the world. So crypto related, crypto connected, Crypto Theists. So, ooh, that's nice. That's nice. I should put that on a shirt. Yeah, I think I'll put that on a shirt. That shirt's coming. Yeah. So basically, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the markets. If you look at everything is red today. So it's a red rainy day. But nothing that we can't handle. Well, there's one bit of green. Monero's up 0.54%. That's great. But this channel really isn't focusing on market analysis. It's more. I focus more on how developments in cryptocurrency technology are utilized throughout the world, and then also how they're impacting things such as entertainment, news, politics, everything that lets you understand a little bit more about how this technology is transforming lives across the globe, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but just things that you can relay to laymen, and so who don't know anything about mining, don't know anything about Bitcoin or Litecoin or blockchain technology or Tangle or anything like that. I try to make the information relatable so you can understand exactly what's going on. That being said, there's a lot of changes coming to the channel. I hope everybody likes the new graphics and music and intro. I'm trying to jazz it up, trying to work on my own delivery, make things a lot more concise and streamlined. So videos are going to start getting shorter. Additionally, we're going to start focusing on the different aspects, the different realms, of cryptocurrency in regard to politics and entertainment and whatnot. I'm going to try to partition things out that much more. We're going to be doing more ICO investment, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the technical side. The course that I'm making is still in the works. It's going to involve animation. It's going to break down. I'm trying to break things down so simply that even your grandma and your 10-year-old son can understand. So I'm going to be using animation, using my own charming personality, and using everything I can possibly do to make this accessible, because I believe that cryptocurrency cannot take off until the technology is accessible to the least informed among us, the poorest individuals among us. That's who this channel is for. It's to help people engage in this world, in this marketplace, in a way that they may be afraid to, because they just don't know. They just don't know. So, as I always do, I start off, talking a little bit about, the markets and where they are right now. But then let's talk a little bit more, today about a couple stories that are interesting to me, that show the power of cryptocurrency, but also how cryptocurrency can be corrupted. It's not, a lot of people have this misconception that, there's this belief that cryptocurrencies are going to change the world and turn it into a vast utopia. But it's not. If you have corruption, the corruption is still going to continue to be there. And one of the best examples of this is what's going on in Venezuela right now. So Venezuela has lost half of its economy due to soaring inflation, basically mismanagement by the socialist government. I'm not against socialism or anything. I'm not advocating for any particular government structure. Capitalism, socialism, whatever, corruption affects them all, as we know here in the U.S. But basically, because of their government and the way that President Nicolas Maduro is running that government, they've gone from 112% inflation in 2015 to 13,000% inflation right now in 2018. The native currency, the bolivar, is practically worthless. And basically what Venezuelans have been doing is taking their money and hedging it and putting it, hedging it against, the decline of the bolivar by the government, and putting it into cryptocurrencies and other assets that are more stable. And that's how crazy things are. If you're talking about investing your hard-earned savings in something as volatile as cryptocurrency in the hope that that's going to be more of a better bet than your native currency, your country has problems. So how does Maduro handle this? Well, basically, he decides he's going to create a cryptocurrency. Now, the cryptocurrency is called the Petro, and the Petro launched yesterday. Now, I want to believe in the Petro. I'm all for new technology. I'm all for governments adopting, blockchain technology and utilizing it to better their administrations for the people. Well, their administration over the people, but there are some issues with the Petro, and I really do believe that this coin is something that you need to stay away from for a variety of reasons I'm about to outline. First of all, the Petro is backed by oil. I know a lot of us who have the traditional understanding of money need to have something solid in order for us to say, okay, I can see that value. But yeah, the Petro is backed by oil, and that's that's part of the main reason why it was chosen as a backing for that cryptocurrency, because people can see it. It can be utilized right now in the real world, and that's Maduro's gamble. That people are going all around the world are going to invest in the Petro because they can use it and know that if things go south, they can get oil for it. But that being said, the other issue is how it's going to be utilized, how this money is going to be utilized. Maduro claims that he's raised $735 million in one day. All right, $735 million in one day just for releasing this coin. All right, and it's impressive, and it's impressive for any kind of ICO to do something to make those kind of gains. But we're also, remember, this is off of speculation. This is off of the hope that it's going to be adopted and utilized, and it's going to benefit the government. However, because of how the government's been run, my belief, and also, and here's another quick fact, there are elections coming up. They're supposed to be democratic, but Maduro has already talked about how the elections are going to be controlled, regulated to prevent anybody from taking his position. So if you have to run your government like a dictator, then you're a dictator. And so whatever money you get from the Petro, from the $735 million, it's not going to the people. It's going to prop up your failing government. So instead of it's global welfare for a failing government. All right, with Maduro and the Venezuelan administration acting as middlemen. If you want to give money to people, in Venezuela, there are a bunch of different ways that you can directly transfer. There was a big Reddit campaign where they were directly transferring Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to the people for trade. They're on the streets literally selling their hair for food. All right, banks are, and that's another thing too. You can't buy the Petro with the bolivar. If this is truly an investment for the people, shouldn't you make it accessible to the people? They should be able to cash in their failing currency and get the bolivar, right? But no, he can't. He's not taking any of that. You can only buy the bolivar with foreign funds. Now, how does this tie into U.S. investors? Well, if you buy a Petro and you live in the U.S., you are violating American law. You are violating sanctions law, according to the Department of the Treasury. That's what you're doing, because you are basically enabling a government that has been sanctioned by purchasing from them. And so there's a bunch of individuals who are thinking, yeah, this is a great cash grab. I can go out there and just buy 500,000, bolivar or whatever. It's going to sustain itself. It's backed by oil, blah, blah, blah. But then come tax time, when you have to turn in all of the trades that you've made over this past year and the gains that you've made and whatnot, that's going to pop up. They're going to know that you bought the petro. Now, what's going to happen there, I don't know if you'll be put in jail. I don't know. I don't want to risk it. That's all I'm going to say. So I think until things, stable out with the petro, until we figure out what's going on, and the viability of this coin, because like I said, you can change the government, you can change the currency all day long, but if the government's the same tricks are going to happen that happen with fiat currency. So something to watch out for, something to be aware of, because it's a little bit more complicated than yay, Venezuela saved by crypto. It's not. That brings me to Poland. Speaking of, on the other side of that spectrum, in Venezuela, they're trying to create a cryptocurrency, or they have created a cryptocurrency. In Poland, they're doing the exact opposite. The Bank of Poland, the Central Bank of Poland, spent I think it was even more than that. Yeah, $27,000. $27,000 or 91,000 zloty on a YouTube campaign that's received over 500,000 views to discredit and disparage cryptocurrency. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with this just in general. If you're transparent about it, you're a bank, you hate crypto, I get it. Kind of cliche, but I get it. It is what it is, all right? But they tried to hide it. They tried to hide it and make it seem like this was some kind of grassroots campaign, phenomenon, whatever have you, where basically this YouTuber just decided to create this elaborate video. I've watched the video. You can check it out. I'm not going to post a link, but you can search for it. But I've watched the video, and basically it just outlines, there were no subtitles, but you can kind of figure it out. But yeah, it outlines the day in the life of this one crypto investor, who's able to buy, fancy cars and take his girl out until, they're out on a date, and suddenly, crypto goes through the floor and he can't pay for anything, and, all the stuff gets taken back, and just basically it's a huge fear, uncertainty, and doubt campaign rolled into, your YouTube video. All right. So I told you this was going to happen. I told you this is what's going to occur in the world of crypto. Until the banks can figure out how to get ahead of it, some of them are creating their own blockchains, creating their own cryptocurrencies and whatnot. Governments are doing the same thing, creating their own blockchains, trying to create their own cryptocurrencies. There's rumor that the United States is going to be coming out with some crypto equivalent of the dollar and whatnot. Until they can get ahead of crypto and figure out how they can benefit, and those in power who have their hands in the pockets of the legislators who are passing the legislation to regulate and control crypto, until they can get ahead of it, they're going to be doing stuff like this. They're going to be investing in fear campaigns. They're going to be disparaging it, one day, and then another day, they'll be lauding how great it is or whatever. That creates uncertainty. That creates instability. That creates chaos. That drives down markets. That lets us see, a sea of red one day and a sea of green on another. And what it does also is it terrifies investors. Those people who don't have a lot of money to spend. I don't want to put $500 in crypto. It may be gone tomorrow. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to believe, because that allows them to set up their institutions in their financial departments and whatnot in the banks. That allows them to put the regulations in place that can basically steer this whole movement back toward the hands of the wealthy, rich, and powerful, where it's always been. Because we've talked about crypto and the strength of crypto. It transcends borders. It's difficult to track. It's difficult to control. If they shut down an exchange in America, people will just take their crypto and trade it on an exchange in China. It's very, very difficult for them to regulate. But at the same time, their greed prevents them from working together to defeat crypto. So they're all trying to come up with their own different ways to moderate it, control it, regulate it. And it just can't be. The cat's out the bag. So the only way for them to control it is through their old methods. And their old methods are basically driving down markets, purchasing things for themselves, and then, scooping up the crypto, because we know crypto can't be generated randomly. It has to be either mined, pre-mined, and distributed, but it's got to be created, and it's finite. And so when something is finite, the only way for me to take it from you is either to steal it from you, which you can't do with crypto, unless you have access to keys and whatnot, or I can force you to sell it. I can devalue it so much, create enough fear, uncertainty, and doubt that will make you want to give up your crypto. And then I can purchase it for myself and slowly but surely begin to control markets. Okay? So this is why you have to be very, very cautious in regard to, what you listen to, what you watch, in the case of this YouTube video, and what your news sources are. This is viable technology. It's going places. It's doing things, and it's going to change the world. All right. Lastly, at 12 o'clock, we're going to be, half hour. In a half hour, we're going to be talking again with Kofi Shakur like we did yesterday, and we're going to be going over the debit ICO investment process some more, and then also the Friends investment process. Somebody asked about that in the feed yesterday. I'm not at the view level where I can see the live broadcast the way I want to and actually be able to respond to individuals, but I'll try. If you tune into that live broadcast on the Facebook channel, I can monitor the Facebook feed there, and then I can give you some real-time feedback, so you can actually communicate with Kofi, talk to him, ask questions, and I'll be there moderating. So until then, I'll talk to you later, and respect the tech.